Good morning, children. Let's begin. We are going to start with our third part of the chapter that is about the salts. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Before I share my screen, I have admitted I have admitted maximum number of children. So let's see, children, what we are going to study today. Okay. Today, children, I guess everybody knows the date. Today is 5th of Today is 5th of June, and every 5th of June we celebrate Environment Day in our school. Okay, and also we perform, like, we do many kind of activities in the school. Also, we have Environment Day celebration, like planting trees. It's not like it's like a very like Varna Mahotsav. Also, we have performed previously, children, if you remember. So, right now we are not there in the school, but we can do this in a house also. So you can just plan, at least if you're because you have some sort of seeds in your house, you can just take any of the seed and you can plant it. Just it's a kind of self satisfaction, children. You are literally you because people now at right this moment they are struggling for oxygen. Okay, literally, first, like, it is so difficult, children. People are literally buying, people are donating. You have seen many. So, literally, is that do we deserve this, children? Environment. Imagine, we have spoiled our environment on such a level. We have brought our and planet Earth on such a level that the free oxygen environment has given us free oxygen, but now we have damaged the planet to such extent that we have to buy oxygen, children. That oxygen has value. Air is free, air is everywhere, but we have to buy that oxygen cylinders. People are dying there without oxygen cylinder. It's so shameful thing, children. So this theme, children, the World Environment Day 2021, the theme is ecosystem restoration. I guess if you remember the last year's theme, if not previous years, once we had performed the assembly, if you remember, the theme was beat air pollution. Okay, that means you have to beat air pollution, whatever. You have to just it's not that government will take that care, politicians will take care, that it's our, even we as a citizen, even we can do lot of things, children. So this year's theme is ecosystem restoration. What is the meaning of restoration? How we have damaged our planet Earth, how we have destroyed, degraded our planet Earth. Let's recover. Let's come together and recover it. So everyone, each and every child who is present here, I'm wishing you a happy World Environment Day, children, and hope so you just think about a planet Earth and do something best for it. Okay, I just hope that you are the future citizens, children, that now we are buying the oxygen cylinders. Hope so this shouldn't happen in the coming years. So let's do some activity in the house. Simple, children, let's plant something. Just go for a tulsi plant or any plant, children. Any small sapling also can provide oxygen, children. It provides greenery, it provides oxygen to the planet Earth, children. Let's see. This was about the Environment Day, children. So, children, we are going to study about the salt. I think everybody knows what had happened in our history. So let's go back to recall the days when Gandhiji, okay, had along with his many followers, they went to the sea bank and they broke that salt act. What was that salt act, children? Britishers were so rude, children. Actually, imagine the salt is free, children. Each and every dish requires salt. Every dish requires salt, but this salt was taxed. Taxed means some extra money was charged on it. So Gandhiji said that how come this it's not good or it's not valid, how come you provide, and like, people were not allowed to consume the salt, Indian especially. So Gandhiji was he was angry, and he would believe in the non-violent children. So just he went to the sea bank and he broke that. He was opposing that salt act. So this was so salt is so important, children, in our day to day life. It has a total salt. If you observe that, it has a history. There's a history behind salt. Okay, the salt which we consume. So children, where do we get salt? from where do we get salt? Let's see, children. So onto the sea river sea bank, especially because sea water contains lot of salt. It is a saline water. Nearby the sea area, children, you are going to find the tiny like small square like construct small square like banks are constructed, and the sea water is allowed to settled into it, and it is allowed to natural evaporate. Evaporation process is natural here, because obviously there will be lot of it's a lot of heat, children, due to the lot of heat of the sun. Okay, the water evaporates and you're going to find that salt remains in the sea bank, okay, in the banks. So this is the just natural process of getting that salt. But this salt which we get from the sea bank, it cannot be consumed, children. This salt which is there, which is collected in the sea bank, the banks, it cannot be consumed. It is a salt, children. Nicely it is collected, but the thing is, this salt also has some other impurities. So children, there are many types of salt. Where we have other type of salt, that is also the brown color salt. This brown color salt is also called as it is a rock salt. Okay, it is a rock salt. It has nice brownish tint. So children, so in this chapter, we are going to study these four salts along with one more. Okay, so first salt which we are going to study, I'm just going to go back to your textbook so that I can explain you properly. Okay, somebody else has joined. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just admitting the children. That's it. So children, let's see the textbook, because when you see the textbook, children, you will get the correct idea what actually is going on. And let's see what actually, because what happens if I'm going to just go on speaking like that, you will not come to know what actually is there in the textbook. There will be no link up, children. So let's see. I'm just going to show you what is there in your textbook. So this is the first salt which we are going to study. We have a set of salts to study, children. It's not that only Tata Namak or the salt which we eat, that is only one salt we have. There are n number salts we have, children. So let's see the first salt. Okay, I think I'm just assuming that you can see the first salt which we eat. That is, I think, as you can see, children. This is the part where we are going to study about these salts. The first thing which salt which we are going to see and which we are familiar, children, that is the common salt, NaCl. So NaCl is the common salt which is formed by the neutralization reaction you have seen, that is NaOH plus HCl gives salt and water. That is a common we have seen earlier. Now the next salt which we are going to see, that is sodium hydroxide. Okay, now you will wonder, miss, how come sodium hydroxide? Sodium hydroxide is a base also. Children, sodium hydroxide which is formed by chloralkali process. We are going to study one process, that is chloralkali process. And by the process of chloralkali, when sodium hydroxide is formed, that type of sodium hydroxide is known as caustic soda, which is a salt. So we are going to study. Let's see what actually we are going to do here in this reaction, in this production of the salt. We are going to take NaCl. Okay, we are going to take NaCl and we are going to add into water. The Tata Namak which we eat, that is NaCl. And when I'm going to add NaCl into water, that is called brine. What it is called, children? Brine. Brine. So when I'm going to pass electricity to it, okay, when I'm going to pass electricity to it, you're going to find two gases will be released and a salt will be formed. That salt is caustic soda, that is NaOH. So let's see, children, once again, the brine, look at this, the brine is passed into the container. To look at the left hand side, children. In the left hand side, you can see the brine, that is NaCl in water. NaCl which is added into water, this is the production of NaOH, children. How is NaOH produced? So when NaCl is added in water, it is passed into this big reservoir, into the container, and then electricity is passed through it. Okay, and you are going to find NaOH is collected to one side, that is caustic soda. Okay, that is salt. One of the salt is collected, and you are going to find two gases are released, that is Cl gas, because NaCl you have added, so chlorine gas is released to the positive electrode. Okay, and you're going to find hydrogen gas is released to the negative electrode. So negative electrode is the cathode and positive electrode is the anode. So you're going to find chlorine gas is released towards the anode, and H2 gas is released towards the cathode. So this is the product. This is a production, or this is the process. Somebody has, yeah. This is the process by which NaOH, that is caustic soda. This is a process where caustic soda is prepared. Okay, this is a production of caustic soda. Let's see the reaction, children. The reaction is NaOH. Okay, is formed. You're going to find NaOH is formed. Somebody has joined. Okay, NaOH is formed. Okay, so what is the reaction? NaCl plus H2O, that is NaCl is salt which we have added in water, and into one we have mixed it nicely, and it is added into this container, and then by the electrolytic reaction, into this electricity is passed. So after passing, like you're going to find the setup is its complete setup, cathode, anode. You're going to find NaOH is NaOH is NaOH is a salt which is collected, and you're going to find the other two gases, that is hydrogen gas and chlorine gas is collected at anode and cathode. You're going to find gases are collected at cathode and anode. So this was the production of NaOH. Children, let's see where it is used now. Caustic soda. Okay, now NaCl is a salt which we use in our day-to-day life everywhere. Like for any of the food item, just if your mother forgets to add up salt into any of the thing, it becomes so tasteless. Children, any of the food product, even though like even sweet items also, little amount of salt should be added into it for a specific taste. So we need salt for tasting, children. So salt is very essential. So next thing, children, this type of salt, that is NaOH, where it is added, where it is used, children. Let's see. It is used. Look at the uses. It is used for degreasing metals. Okay, it is used for degreasing metals, soaps and detergent. It is also, caustic soda is used in soaps and detergents, and it is also used in paper making industry. Paper making, the wood pulp, actually. I'll show you, children, so that you will understand. So let's see. First thing, caustic soda is used in the degreasing, or as I have told you, degreasing of metals. What is the meaning? Let's see, children. This is the look at the net. It is so dirty. The brownish color is on the, especially the kitchen nets, children. You will find on the kitchen nets there will be a lot of dirt and grease, children, because when you give tadka, when tadka is given, or any of the food item, like it burns and lot of smoke goes out of that net, children. The kitchen net, usually it will be very unclean, children. Yes, it's going to be unclean and very greasy. So this type of caustic soda is used in the cleaners, children. Greasing, you can see the net becomes so clean. So this type of caustic soda, that is this in this type of cleaners, caustic soda is used. So what is the main purpose, or what is the main use of caustic soda? First thing, degreasing metals. Then next one, it is used in the paper industries. It is used in the paper industries. The main When the paper is produced, children, obviously it is used. The main basic product is the main basic product is the. You're going to find that it is the Like paper, it's the plant production. It's a pulp, wood pulp. So that wood pulp is it's a slushy material. Like it's a very slushy material. And it's a very brownish color material. So that is bleached, or that is given a whitish structure by caustic soda. So where caustic soda is used, it is used for degreasing material metal. Also, it is used for paper industry. It is used in the paper industry. It is used in the paper industries, and you will observe that also it is used in the artificial fibers. Okay, it is used, children, muted children. Okay, it is used in the production of artificial fibers. So children, I'll just show you about artificial fibers. So these are some type of artificial fibers. Look at this. The brownish color artificial fiber, obviously of the natural fibers which we get, will be having some brownish tint. But when it is now your corn husk fibers are treated with NaOH, any caustic soda, and you're going to find it's going to get bleached up, it's going to get whiten up. So these are the main uses of caustic soda. So let's see the Okay, children, let's see, children. Next one. The next one is the bleaching powder. Okay, the first, I hope so. First two salts, everybody has understood. The first salt which we have seen is NaCl, which we use. It is a common salt. The second salt which we have seen, that is NaOH, that is caustic soda. The third salt which we are going to see is bleaching powder. Okay, this is bleaching powder. Everybody, I think I muted everyone. Mute. Does have to do all this work now? I have to find out who is the children. Who is this eliminator? I think I have to. Hmm, it's all done. So bleaching powder. Okay, so the next salt which we use in our day-to-day life, or that is bleaching powder. So children, how bleaching powder is produced? How it is made? So we have calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide, as we know in our previous classes, we have seen that is quicklime or slake lime? It is the slake lime. Very good, children. So slake lime, into this slake lime, okay, into the slake lime, if we flush, or if chlorine gas is passed from into this slake lime, if chlorine gas is passed, what is going to happen? Okay, so you're going to get calcium. Okay, look at the formula, calcium CaO Cl2. So this is bleaching powder. CaO, Cl2 is bleaching powder. So what actually it is? Calcium oxide, calcium oxy is there, chloride, calcium oxychloride. You will have calcium oxychloride, and the byproduct really will be water. Okay, so this is a simple reaction, children. This is a very simple reaction. Onto the dry slake lime, you're going to just pass chlorine, and you're going to find a calcium oxychloride is formed along with water. This calcium oxychloride is bleaching powder. So what is the use of bleaching powder, children? There are many uses of bleaching powder. You're going to find it is used in n number of ways. Okay, let's see bleaching powder, that is calcium. It is used in bleaching clothes. Look at this. I'll just zoom it. It is used as an oxidizing agent, children. So why it is used as an oxidizing agent? What is the formula? The formula is CaCO Cl2. That means उसके अंदर oxygen है. Yes, if it has oxygen, that means only it has the capacity of giving oxygen. So this is also because it is enriched with oxygen. Oh yes, so it provides oxygen in a chemical reaction. So this type of reaction is it is a kind of oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent mainly provides oxygen. So this is this bleaching powder, that is CaOCl2. It bleaches clothes. Okay, we will see different uses. Then it is used as an oxidizing agent in the industries. It is used in disinfecting water. That means any like in well water, like for example any well is just left out for many days and the water becomes dirty. So the first thing, the well water is treated with bleaching powder. It's the easiest way, children, to disinfect the water, to kill the germs from the water. And also it is used in the manufacture of chloroform. Okay, it is also used in the manufacture of chloroform. So these were the uses of bleaching powder, children. In the which industries bleaching powder is used, children, we have seen. So first thing, let's see, children. I'll just show you some pictures. Bleaching, you can see, children. Yeah, look at this Harpic. I have brought this Harpic so that you can easily see that plus bleach. Something is written there, bleach. That means you can just why? Because tiles and all, when we put Harpic in our washrooms and all, you're going to find it cleans up. It whitens the tiles very nicely. So okay, so this has bleach. Also, we have this one, children, Domex, bleach based formulation, because it has bleach into it. So Domex and all, it has some bleaching powders or bleaching contents only. They give that whitening effect. But usually the traditional powder which we get of bleaching, we get it in such a packet, normal packet we get. It's a very cheaper one, to 10 to 12 rupees you will get, and it is used for cleaning the tiles. Okay, so this bleaching powder whitens up everything. Certainly, it is used for like bleaching clothes, whitening clothes, and etc. Okay, so this was about the for third salt, children. So, which was the first salt we have seen? Common salt. The second salt which we have seen is that is the NaOH, that is caustic soda. The third salt which we have seen is the bleaching powder. I hope so. The process you have understood. Just onto the slake line, chlorine gas is flushed, and you're going to get calcium oxychloride, and water will be released. Next, you're going to get, you can see the uses. Bleaching powder is used in the for bleaching clothes. Also, it is used in the bleaching paper, like that is bleaching wood pulp, and then it is acts as an oxidizing agent, and also it is used as an disinfectant. So let's see, children. Next one, baking soda. I think so. Everybody. Next is salt, which we use. The next with salt which we use, that is baking soda. So let's see how baking soda is used, children. Okay, baking soda, how it is made. First, we have to see what actually, where actually baking soda is used first. Before studying the uses, we will see how baking soda is manufactured, how it is produced. Okay, so NaCl, the normal salt which we have, okay, it is added into water. Okay, it is added into water. You're going to find it is added into water, and then it after like you're going to find its reaction with carbon dioxide gas and ammonia, CO2 and ammonia, NaCl plus water plus CO2 and ammonia, you're going to get ammonium chloride and NaHCO3. This NaHCO3 is not, children, you are going to find that NaOH, first thing, NaHCO3, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, this is a kind of it's a kind of salt only, children. Okay, somebody has joined. Okay, you can see the next one, NaHCO3, that is the baking soda. NaHCO3 baking soda, you have seen the reaction. NaCl reacts with water. That means obviously if you it's NaCl is in the crystalline form. When you add into water, okay, when you add into water, and then look at this reaction, when you add into water and then carbon dioxide gas, when it reacts with carbon dioxide gas and ammonia, it gives ammonium chloride and sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate is nothing but it is the baking soda. Okay, it's a baking soda, children. Where baking soda is used, I don't have to tell you, children. Baking soda is used as an antacid. Yes, you can see it is used as an antacid. Also, baking soda is an ingredient of baking powder, children. For making baking powder, we use baking soda. Let's see, children, how come? For making baking powder, okay, what actually is, well, there is difference between baking powder and baking soda. Don't consider I don't have baking powder. Let's use baking soda. It's not that. There is a vast difference between baking powder and baking soda. Whatever, like, it's not everywhere both the ingredients, like, in one is absent, we can use the other one. Okay, what is the difference? Let's see. Baking powder is baking powder only. That is NaHCO3. Okay, that is the baking soda. Sorry, baking soda is NaHCO3. And what is baking powder now? Baking powder is NaHCO3. Okay, that is baking soda plus tartaric acid. Tartaric acid is added to baking soda to make baking powder. So, powder is a mild one, children. It's a mild one in comparison to baking soda. Okay, let's see, children. Let's see the, I hope so you have understood this. So, children, baking soda, let's see the reaction once again. NaCl plus water plus carbon dioxide plus you're going to find ammonia gas is flushed. You're going to find ammonium chloride, it's a side product, and you're going to find the main product, sodium hydrogen carbonate, is formed. Okay, so this is our main product. Okay, so let's see the next one, children. Baking powder, as I have told you, what actually happens, children? So baking powder, when it is heated, okay, NaHCO3, when it is heated, because when you add this into a cake batter, okay, when you add pinch of baking soda, okay, when you add pinch of baking soda, take little pinch of baking soda and you add into dhokla batter, you add into idli batter, or any batter which you want to, for like instant fermentation if you want. Okay, what is actually happening there? When you add baking soda into any of the batter, you'll find little bubbles into it. Okay, when little bubble, bubble, immediately it starts bubbling up. Even eno, children, when you add eno into the batter, it starts bubbling up. That bubbles are nothing. Okay, somebody has joined. Who is that? Went also. Okay. So you will find little bubbling, children. When you add baking soda into any batter, you will find it starts bubbling up. So why actually it gets bubbled up? Because when you heat that batter, when you add soda and when you heat that batter, you are going to find carbon dioxide gas will be released in this reaction. Look at this reaction. In this when baking soda is heated, look at the byproduct, carbon dioxide gas is released. And when carbon dioxide gas is released, the cake, the dhokla, the whatever food item we prepare, it becomes so fluffy, children, because we heat baking soda. When you heat baking soda, okay, you're going to get sodium carbon, that's a byproduct, children. And you'll find, because of carbon dioxide, releasing of carbon dioxide, you will find the cake becomes so fluffy. Even dokla and other products into which you add baking soda becomes very fluffy. That fluffiness is because of the evolution of carbon dioxide gas. So this was about the baking soda. So let's see the children. Next one, washing soda. I think so. Everybody washing soda. Everybody knows. Okay, let's see. There are few other uses. Look at this. Big uses of baking soda we have. It is your first use of baking soda. It is used to make baking powder. Okay, you should remember it is used to make baking powder, and also it is used as a antacid, and also it is used in the fire extinguisher. Children, the red color fire extinguishers, I hope so you have seen near DMart, near computer labs. It also has some content of, those are soda acid fire extinguishers. Every fire extinguishers has different content. Some will be carbon dioxide wala, some will be some other chemical, but here when you find soda acid fire extinguisher, that means they contain baking soda. Okay, so let's see the next one, washing soda. Okay, washing soda. So I think so everybody is familiar to this. Now what you're going to do, children, it is the recrystallization of sodium carbonate. I'll just tell you what actually it is. Let's see. Okay, now you will wonder what is recrystallization, what is this? Don't worry, I'll just tell you about it. Okay, so children, I hope so. If you remember the crystallization process which I had taught you last year, where you're going to take the crystals of salt and you're going to put into water. You're going to warm up that liquid little, and then you're going to keep it for many days. After few days, you're going to find the crystals of that salt. This is nothing but this is the process where I'm recrystallizing it. Okay, already I was having crystal, ये तो ऊपर उल्टा खाने से ये खा whatever thing was there, that only I have got. No children, it's not that only I have got. Fine, you will say yes miss, salt डाला तो salt ही मिलेगा, salt के crystals I have got, so it's so boring. It's not at all boring children, but if you have added salt into it, the crystals which you have got, those are pure crystals. So by the recrystallization of sodium carbonate, you're going to get washing soda. Okay, this is a look at the crystals, how beautiful crystals are formed, children. So same way in the laboratory also, sodium bicarbonate, that is not sodium bicarbonate, it is a sodium carbonate. Look at the reaction, I'm sorry, Na2CO3, that is sodium carbonate, is recrystallized. Recrystallized means what? Obviously, I told you the process, that salt is added into water, and when salt is added into water, you're going to find that it's allowed to get form crystals nicely. It is kept undisturbed, and you will find some fine crystals which are pure ones start growing into that solution. So here you are going to get Na2CO3, H 10H2O. That means 10 molecules of H2O. 10, it is hydrated compound. Hydrated compound means, children, I'll just tell you best example. So what is the formula of washing soda? Sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, 10H2O. Now you will wonder, miss, how come 10? What is the relation? What actually is this? It is a hydrated compound, children. Hydrated compound means, I'll just show you, children. This detergents, I think everybody knows about these detergents. They contain washing soda. Okay, they contain washing soda. Once just take that detergent and rub onto your hand. Rub onto a hand, or keep the detergent open for just keep it open. What you're going to find, it becomes very sticky. You don't do anything, but it's going to find, you will find, it will start releasing water. Automatic, it releases water, children. Yes, detergents like Tide, these all detergents, you will find, like if you keep the packet open, if you keep the container open, it starts releasing water. Why it releases water? Because it has washing soda. और washing soda का formula क्या है? Na2CO3H2O. This is the formula of washing soda. Means what? It has sodium carbonate, that is Na2CO3. Along with that, it has 10H2O, that means 10 water molecules. It is a hydrated compound. So washing soda, let's see, children. What are the uses of washing soda? First thing, sodium carbonate is used in the in the glass and paper industries, glass, soap and paper industries. It is used in the manufacture of sodium compounds such as borax. Children, nowadays it's trendy, children. You make slimes and all. Yes, slimes and all. It's very interesting. Like I know for the production of slime, we require borax. So it is used in the this one. Washing soda is used in the manufacture of sodium compounds like borax. Okay, it is used in the borax making industry. So it is also used as a cleaning agents like Tide detergents and other water detergent. We have liquid detergents, powder detergents, etc. It is also used for removing permanent hardness of water. Children, am I audible now, children? Okay. Also, it is used in the permanent hardness of water, children. We have two types of water. Now, look at this, children. We have two types of water. Okay, now hard water, chemistry. Okay, mainly this you will be studying in chemistry, because others like, how come even other, if you ask anyone, do you know the two types of water, hard water, soft water? It's very difficult. Some people are going to tell, like it's very like still many of them, they are not aware of this. So don't assume that hard water is the water which is there in the refrigerator, that is ice. That is, ice is hard because so it is hard water. Don't assume this, it's not at all that. Hard water and soft water, those are the two main types of water. So like, when it rains, children, okay, when it rains, rainwater has, it's a very pure form of water. So it's very pure form, or it has adequate amount of minerals and all. So that water is the soft water, okay, very soft, like soft water. And then when rain falls on the ground, calcium, magnesium, mainly these two minerals get mixed up into water, and that water becomes very hard. Okay, hard means what? It has lots and lots of minerals, and due to the presence of minerals, what happens, children, when you bath also with this and into the hard water, this like the soaps, like my mild soaps, like we have Dove and all, they do not get dissolved. They do not get lather only, they don't get foam only. You will not get any kind of foam into such waters, because they have already lot of minerals, children. They don't allow anything else to enter into it. Okay, it becomes very difficult to dissolve anything into hard water. So this two, we have mainly two types of water. So hard water, especially, it damages your hair, it damages skin. You're going to find, especially like, let's go back to our picnic days, children. You will never, like, those are memorable days, children. So when we go to picnic, children, we enjoy in the swimming pool. Wow, so beautiful. Like, you just in the swimming pool and all, nicely you will enjoy a rain dance. But as you come back, children, okay, you will find there's some difference. Okay, you will find there is some let's some changes in the color, body color, something happens onto your body, children. This is the thing, because it has some amount, some chemicals, chlorine added into it. That is some other case, children. Just I'm giving you some examples that what actually happens when water has some other content into it. Now your hard water has calcium and magnesium, due to which the complete, you're going to find that it destroy, like, you're going to find that the hardness of water, like, it becomes very difficult. It's not at all potable, and because of it has lot of minerals, we cannot add any detergents into it. Okay, but children, this washing soda, imagine, this washing soda, it is the permanent, it removes the permanent hardness of water. We have a simple reaction here. Just that is what I have told you. You take any salt, children, any of the salt, and you, if when you heat it, you will find bubbles of water onto it. Okay, now I'm going to take any salt. I'll just show you an experiment. In this experiment, you're going to take little amount of copper and you're going to heat it. Look at the bubbles, children. Look at the bubbles in the test tube. When you heat that copper, okay, when you heat copper, you will find bubbles there. This is the proof that that salt contains water. Or this is a proof that it is a hydrated compound. So when you heat copper, this little copper I have taken, there you can see in the experiment, and when you heat it, children, you will find bubbles in the test tube, water bubbles, because it has the water content. So let's, last 2 minutes are remaining. I'll just proceed, children. So we will be studying the last salt, that is the plaster of Paris. I hope so. Everybody knows about it, children. Everybody knows POP. In your houses and all, you're going to find this type of beautiful decorations. Like, if not, at least you will find some idols, beautiful now decoration pieces. You will find this type of whitish decoration pieces. Also, you are going to find some stuff, some type of ceilings and all. Nicely, it will be decorated with it's a POP, beautiful decoration. Nowadays, it's trendy, children. It's going on. Even some wall pieces and all, nice. You can see this type of this powder-like structure, which is used for like, it hardens up very soon. When you add into water, fatak se it gets hardened up, children. Very soon. So only this is used for making idols. This is used for making some decoration pieces. Also, some type of like plastering work. It is used, children. So beautifully, such type such this is actually plaster of Paris. I know you are, I think so, I'm just hoping that you are familiar to it. That is plaster of Paris. What actually it is, how it is made, let's see, children. So plaster of Paris, children, okay. So what is the process of making plaster of Paris? Gypsum. you're going to take a compound gypsum and you're going to heat it. Okay, gypsum is a compound. Okay, similar compound, children. You're going to find this kind of crystals of gypsum, and when you heat it, children, it loses water. Gypsum, when you're, what is the formula of gypsum? Look at this. When you with CaSO, the SO4, that is calcium sulfate, and it has two water molecules. Look at the formula of gypsum, CaSO4, two water molecules. On heating, when you heat this gypsum, you're going to find obviously when you heat any salt, it releases water molecules. So this gypsum also, it's going to release water molecules, and you're going to get plaster of Paris. Okay, you're going to get plaster of Paris. What is the formula of plaster of Paris? CaSO4, calcium sulfate, half water molecule, children. It is half water molecule, or what you're going to say, hemihydrate. Now I just have to tell you, children, now this, look at the planet Earth, children. When in your SS you have seen the top of the top, just divide the earth into half by the, like, equator is that imaginary line. The top of the earth is the northern hemisphere. Hemi means half, and the bottom of the below the equator, it is the southern hemisphere. Hemisphere is half. Okay, you have, SS teacher might be have, yeah, she has taught you about the hemispheres. So keep in mind, this hemi word means half. So what is the formula of plaster of Paris? CaSO4. Plaster of Paris is CaSO4 hemihydrate. H2O is half water molecule, so hemihydrate. So you're going to find, when you're going to add plaster of Paris, when you heat gypsum, you will get plaster of Paris. Again, if plaster of Paris, when you add into water, you will get gypsum. See, the reaction is so ulta pulta. When you heat the gypsum, you get plaster of Paris. Once you add plaster of Paris in water, you get gypsum back. So this is the type of like the different type of reaction, children, where you're going to get the reactants back from the products. So that was about the gypsum. You can see the natural form gypsum you'll find such type of crystals of gypsum. And then also plaster of Paris. Let's see the uses of plaster of Paris. So what is the formula of plaster of Paris? CaSO4 hemihydrate, calcium sulfate hemihydrate, and it is used for plastering fractured bones. If any of the like any child falls or anything happens, there's dislocation of bones. So that dislocation is, you can see the doctor plasters it with a layer of POP, that is plaster of Paris. So that is the one use of plaster of Paris. Then we have, it is used for making toys. Some toys, like you have some small toys for like kids and all. It is like showpieces, decorative items are made up of plaster of Paris. Also decorative materials and statues are made up of plaster of Paris. I hope so you have understood, children. Let's end up. So today we have studied about the salts. Okay, and what type of salts we have studied, children? The first salt which we have studied was NaCl, then NaOH, that is caustic soda. The third salt which we have seen, that was washing soda, I guess, baking soda, then washing soda, bleaching powder, plaster of Paris. These all we have studied, children. If you have any doubts related to it, kindly message me, and just thank you, children. You may leave. Thank you, children. Thank you, children. Thank you.